Hi, Mark Macomber here for ACTV, and thank you for joining us today for a very, very special edition for you. Today I have a very special guest. We have Stanley Ndambakuwa, is that correct?
Yes.
Stanley, welcome to the show today. We're really excited to have you here.
Thank you.
Good. Well, we're going to explore some really different things today about you and about the exciting work that you have been doing recently. And just like to start off a little bit about, asking a little bit about you. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and education? And
I was born in Mvuma, in Zimbabwe. It's a semi-rural community. And I grew up into a financial disadvantage. So I worked through my parents to help them, in the fields, in communities, to raise my fees for education. And when I finished secondary school, I got a headman in my local community who identified me and gave me the opportunity to get a scholarship from the government. And then I learned at Monash University, and I got a Bachelor of Social Science.
Excellent.
Then I started this organization at Monash University, and which made me to be here today. And
where is that university located at?
It's in South Africa. It's called Monash South Africa, but it's a campus of Monash University in Australia.
Ah, well, excellent. And so how old are you?
I'm 23 years.
23, so you've accomplished quite a bit in those 23 years so far.
Yes, I think so.
Well, good.
Yes.
Well, tell me about, you have an organization called the African Community Fund for Education, yes?
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
African Community Fund for Education is a non-profit organization, and it focuses on empowering the African community through education and leadership development. So basically, what we do is we focus on marginalized areas and on empowering the disadvantaged individuals. So we have a criteria of selecting people and identifying them as disadvantaged. So these may be orphans who are victims of HIV and AIDS. These may be people who are just born into disadvantage, just like women and girls who faced abuse, rape, and other physical damages or social or mental disturbances that affected their lives. So we take them, we attach them to an education program where we give them a scholarship opportunity to go to school, and also attach them to a complementary leadership program. That's what we do.
Now, how long has that organization been going on?
This organization is 6 months. It's less than 6 months old.
6 months old?
But it has made much impact.
Excellent. Now, do you focus in specific territories or regions or states in Africa, or do you work predominantly all over?
The organization is an international organization.
Okay.
So we work in South Africa currently and in Zimbabwe, but we can work anywhere in Africa in 54 countries. But since we are headquartered in Johannesburg, we are working there and in Zimbabwe now, but we work everywhere.
Is that like where your headquarters is right now in Johannesburg?
Yes, exactly.
So, well, tell me a little bit about, well, you're here in Cincinnati with us today. I hear you were invited to a special event. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay, the reason why I'm here, I was invited to attend the Africa Festival at Cincinnati Museum Center at Union Terminal to talk about my organization. So I got an opportunity to tell people what I do and why I do it. And why they should be part of me. And I also came here to launch a campaign called Dollar Campaign for Education, which is a global fundraiser, which is meant to help the ACFE group to reach as many people as it can. So I came also to look for partnerships from institutions like Cincinnati State, Michigan State University, and to work with students to have this campaign to go on.
I see. So you're really looking for involvement, not just people helping support through funds and resources, but you're also looking for folks to help campaign and raise awareness?
Yes, and also people to be involved, those who share this similar background with me and those who feel I'm pursuing an idea that can serve this world. I also invite them to participate.
So like volunteer positions to get involved in the organization?
Yes,
and its
whatever
mission.
they can do. If they have qualifications for mentoring, counseling, we need them to come and talk to our students and be involved and make impact.
I see. And well, that's a very ambitious endeavor.
Thank you.
A lot of work. How many members of your organization do you have at this point?
At this point, we have 6 directors in the executive management team. We have 4 advisory people in the advisory board, and we have 1 chairman in the board of directors. And we are working in getting more people involved as well.
And it is a nonprofit.
Yes.
Well, that's very exciting work. How did you come up with the idea for this? Was this something that as you were going to school, you just found there was a place in your heart that you wanted to help and give back and make a difference?
What made me to come up with this idea is I had an imperative need in my heart that was saying, actually I wanted to be a geographer, to be a GIS technician, but my testimony, the testimony of my life, was forcing me to come back and help the community and give back to the community. So because I grew up into financial disadvantage, and I saw how much my parents have been working hard to send me to school, and how I also helped them. I thought it a great idea when I finished school to go back and give to the community through something that is developmental, something that can focus on, helping those people who are still in the situation that I was before I received an education opportunity. So to me, because the education opportunity that I received helped me so much, it was very important for me to think of giving other people the same opportunity, because to me, it's something that works. It's something that has been proven. If I look at myself now, I can say an education opportunity is the best way to empower a human being.
Yes, and that probably is so by helping folks become educated, and it increases awareness. And
yes, and also the other thing is when I went to Monash University, I became involved into the community. I was elected twice as the president of the Society of Monash University's Geographers Environmentalists, and I was also involved in the Monash Alumni Student Mentoring Program as a mentee. So I had my mentor called Sarah Cousins in Australia. She helped me to get an insight in how the community works. She also helped me to understand poverty and how it affects other youths. So I also worked after that I went on to serve as the residence mentor at Monash Residential Services, and that gave me the quality of being a mentor myself. So all these qualities I developed, leadership qualities, mentoring qualities, they couldn't really go anywhere except to come back to the community and serving the community. Yes.
Well, that makes sense. That's a good mission.
Yes.
That's a very good mission. Well, this is really an exciting endeavor that you've gotten yourself into,
Yes.
and very exciting that you're able to travel and bring the word to others and looking for friends and affiliates
Yes.
to work along with you. So what is your principal means of fundraising? How have you been working to not only increase awareness, but to increase your resources?
Okay. What I've been doing is when I started thinking of the idea, I went to introduce my idea to the author of Dear Africa, who is called Andrew Taonashe. So he then started to encourage me to pursue the African dream, to live it and to own it. So that gave me, he gave me support. He supported me financially, and he worked with me until today to make sure that my things go well. But I also have friends that I got here in the United States, which include people like Cedric McDonald, who have been working so hard to make sure that we put the programs into place and people start going to school. But we also get funds by partnering with other organizations. Just like now, I've begun working with Cincinnati State, students at Cincinnati State and students at Michigan State University, so that we can promote this fundraising program called Dollar Campaign for Education, and so that we can also promote exchange programs between Monash, South Africa, and Michigan State University, Monash, South Africa, and Cincinnati State. So that's how we raise funds. But we also have people who feel that the cause that I'm pursuing is the cause that really affects their heart. So we have individuals who come in and give, but we also do simple fundraising events to raise funds.
Oh, any specific fundraisers coming up at this time?
Yes, we have a plan to. I'm partnering with an organization called a Big Family Inc. We are planning a soccer event here in the United States in June. So I might be back here in June to do that fundraiser, which we hope is a multi-million-dollar event. And in Zimbabwe, I'm looking into getting into hotels and do fundraising dinners. I'm also looking into do conferences in Zimbabwe. I'm also looking into doing this campaign in South Africa in the universities and to encourage students to be proactive.
So if you have the soccer event, where are you thinking about holding that?
Sorry, I beg your pardon?
Where would you where would the soccer fundraiser, where would that be?
That would be here in Cincinnati.
Oh.
So because it's not really my idea, but it's the idea of the organization that I'm partnering with.
Sure.
It's their fundraiser that they do all the time, but because they understand the need for finances in our organization, they accepted that we can work together.
Oh, good.
So it's gonna be, we're gonna invite teams from Michigan, we're gonna invite teams from Indianapolis, we're gonna invite teams from Kentucky and other states to come here.
So it'd almost be like a little tournament of sorts.
Yes, and we're expecting 1,000 teams.
Oh wow, that would be a very large event.
Yes.
No, that's exciting. So make sure you get some music for your, for your event. Music always draws people, and it's always good to have performers to come.
Yes.
I do quite a few of those myself, as I'm a performer, and so I'm always giving my time and musical talents to fundraisers. So give me a call if you need somebody when you do that.
Yes, we'll definitely do. Thank you.
Well, that's really exciting, and just kind of opens a lot of door of opportunity for you to partner with affiliates, educational institutions to raise awareness and bring the notice. And I think folks are in their hearts are opening up a lot more to helping people.
Yes.
And if they have the resources to do it, they find, I think there's a lot of generosity in the world and people stepping up to try to do things when they can. So that's exciting. Well, there's a lot of things we see in the media. A lot of folks who have been putting a lot of attention into Africa. Recently, Sean Lennon's been doing a thing about helping with water, and George Clooney's been doing some awareness, and of course Angelina Jolie, and a lot of folks have been trying to do the best they can with their celebrity statuses, if you will, to kind of bring attention to it. So tell me a little bit about your efforts to help get control of the poverty in Africa, because there's a lot of challenges. There's a lot of things. Tell me, can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yes. Okay. When I was thinking of how I can model my idea, I looked at the UN Millennium Development Goals. So I decided to take this Millennium Development Goal that focuses on eradicating extreme poverty and hunger in Africa. So that's the goal that we are trying to pursue, but we are trying to do it through developmental means, because we have so many problems in this world and in Africa as well, but we can't solve them alone. If we are a panel of people who are millionaires and billionaires, we still can't finish those problems. So I designed a program that empowers the person to have an independent mind, the mind that can help them to solve their own problems rather than us always being on the giving side. So just like the government of Zimbabwe, when they sent me to school, they only gave me mental resources, an opportunity to get educated, and right now I've managed to devise solutions for my own problems. I even managed to help the family, the sisters. And when I was satisfied that I've helped the family and the sisters, I went on to help the community. So we are trying to eradicate poverty through developmental means, and we are trying to make it a global impact, to say the person that we are going to send to school, even if is from Zimbabwe or from South Africa, that person is still going to make change in Cameroon. It's going to make change in Egypt. So that's how we are trying to, where we are trying to go.
What have you identified to be maybe the top issues, problems, challenges that you've run into that probably would make the biggest impact? If you could work on one or two, three things, what would they be?
Yeah. Okay. Maybe not to be political, but just to be general. Let me say, from where I stay, I've realized that young men and women, young men and boys who are not educated, they tend to seek refuge in crime and drugs and other things that destroy their lives. And I also saw that girls and women get affected by issues of abuse, rape cases, and murder and other things. But combining all those problems, we come back to the same issue to say the people that are victimizing them, they're trying to pursue to address their own social problems because they have not gone to school, they don't have access to education. Because we're living in a competitive and credentialed global village. If you haven't done anything, any course, or you don't know anything, you can't compete.
Right. So
the best they can do is to do what it takes to rob others, to fight, to kill. If the person next to you is not educated, it's still going to affect you. But I also have a passion to say I want to focus on empowering the African community and the African people so that we can avail the greatness of those brilliant minds so that they can bring their share into the global village.
Yes.
You want people who come and participate when we talk about global problems. You also want to hear that the fastest aircraft has been made in Africa today. You want to hear that the safest kind of technology has been made in Africa. So we want to try to link our efforts and get into the global world. But I think the problems I have realized, I can link all of them to lack of education and being disadvantaged.
Yeah. So all the efforts with water and to get food and resources is just a tip of the iceberg to some degree, because kind of what a lot of things boil back down to is education and opportunity.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we can have those problems. Okay, we have urgent problems that needs to be solved today. But at the same time, I'm looking in the next 20 years. Just like what Mandela did when he decided to forgive and to promote democracy in the country, he was looking at what might happen in the next 20 years when he's gone. Yes. So I'm also looking at what might happen in the next 20 years. We might give people food today, healthcare, and other things that they need. But in the next 20 years, do we have assurance that we are going to still be able to provide for everyone? We don't have that assurance. But the assurance that we have is we are creating great minds that will continue to devise solutions that are better than the solution we think we have today.
Yes.
So that's the ideology, and I think it's powerful.
Well, and I think you're onto something, because I think one of the greatest resources on the planet is people and their spirits, and their minds and their ability to create and come up with great new ideas. And the world has. The world as a unified planet has a lot of challenges.
Exactly.
We do as a planet, and so every country has its challenges. Everybody has similar kind of things, and I think that's the commonality in humankind, is that we all have that. And I think when you take politics and religion out of all of these equations, you really end up with people. And people are all the same.
Yes.
We all are made of spirit, and we all have hearts, and we all need love, and water is a good thing too. It's nice to quench your thirst and feed your hungers. But man's capable of a lot of things. He's an amazing instrument in a lot of ways, and I use that term because I'm a musician. But man has an incredible amount of potential, and we kind of all are underutilized to a degree. So it's really nice to see when people such as yourself have the vision to say, what if I were to take this life that I've been given, and I become educated, and I have this quest, and I have this desire to try to make a difference in the world. And I find it to be very admirable of someone that is your age that has that vision in that wake-up call? Because as you mentioned, a lot of people would go down a different road. They might choose a road that would lead them into drugs or lead them into, and like I say, we all struggle from the same challenges and choices to make. So I think it's exceptionally admirable that you've found such a great mission, and that you've been a great leader already by starting this organization and finding people to help you, which is always hard. It's, you know, to find people to buy into your vision.
Buy into,
it is.
It's difficult.
And you start getting a little momentum, and things start picking up,
Yes.
and things get bigger and bigger, and you
Yeah.
get a bigger audience,
Yes.
and
when people see things or the way that the organization is today, you know, they would think that I think it was easy to get it here, but you know, it was a struggle. But you know, you really have to fight for it.
Sure you do.
Yes.
It's like a good sporting event. If you're going to win the soccer game, you gotta give it the extra mile. You gotta when you're sweating and hurting a little bit, you gotta suck it up and try a little harder to do it. But I think that's one of the joys of finding something that you really truly love, and
Yes.
it comes from inside,
From the heart, yes.
and it becomes easy.
Yes.
You know, rather than it might be a lot of work, and it might be a lot of energy, and it might be a lot of effort, but it's much more rewarding. And at the end of the day, and maybe at the end of your life, you really look back and you go, yeah, I really did make a difference, and I really did do something that made an impact on people's lives.
Yes.
And you know,
and it's gonna be a circle, because what we need to achieve on these people that we are sending to school is to brand them with an ethic of service.
Yes.
To make them to understand service learning, community engagement, and participative leadership. So that helps them. Even if I'm gonna be something else in the near future, but I leave the seeds that will continue to circulate the impact. So these people will continue to empower others in different ways. They someone may just have a company and employ 1 million people. We have reduced unemployment. Someone can have a farm and feed the people. So the impact is going to be a circulation. And you know, at the end of the day, if we look into 50 years, the impact will be wider. We have presidents, we have CEOs, different professions that we create just by joining hands together and sending someone to school.
Well, I think there's a trend right now about leadership starting to be more service-oriented giving. In other words, there's a whole trend about CEOs and presidents of companies who are now starting to open up their minds to focus on not just making their companies successful, but doing things to assist and make other programs that are altruistic, ones that affect change in the world. And some of the bigger companies are really starting to look at, from a cultural standpoint within their organizations, to start being open to the ideas of that. So, and I think that's encouraging as well.
Yes.
Because it means that people are becoming more aware.
Yes.
So, not just as individuals, but as groups, and I think that's when a lot of impact can be made. So
yes, so it comes back to the fact that what's important in life is sustainability.
Yes.
So sustainable development
Yes.
is what is very important, because what gives us assurance that tomorrow is going to be a better day.
Yes.
It's because we have invested in human resources. We have people who understand. So also when we go into communities, we take people who have got a story. We don't just pick anyone. We take people who have the potential to be future African leaders. We take people who have the potential. So someone has to tell their story. Because if you don't have a story, it's going to be difficult for you to change the world tomorrow. You've got to have a story that you tell and say, I'm starting here. So we also get an assurance that we are sending you to school, but you will give back.
Yes.
But we are not necessarily going to bind these people to say give back, but we are going to work hard on our leadership program to make sure we brand them in a way that they feel they're
compelled
just,
to do
they feel compelled.
Yes.
So.
Well, and I think that's, I think those are the qualities of a good education and and leadership is to instill that kind of belief in people that they intuitively want to give back. It's an awareness. It's not something that it's not even something that you learn. It almost comes from inside, where, you know, it's like the light bulb goes on and everybody says, well, you know, I have some ownership of being a part of the planet. I have ownership of being a part of humankind, and maybe we're separated by continents and oceans, but we still are all interconnected. We really truly are, as one human form on this planet. Don't get me started on my ecology and all my stuff, but I have some deep beliefs in that. So it's always exciting for me to see people that are willing to spend their energy to make a difference, and do things that are really important to them, and then subsequently it's contagious.
Yes, exactly.
You know, if you're excited about it and passionate about it, people see that energy and they go, wow, we're going to jump on this. Well, this is really exciting. So if anybody wants to get involved with you and your organization, do you have, I guess we have some contact information that we'll show here on the show, and get your direct contact information to people. So at the end of the day here, at the end of the next 25, 30 years, what would you, if you had to look back then at that point in your life and see all the work that you had done, what would you like to look back at? How would you like to look over your shoulder, and what would you like to see?
I want to see the world that is a better place. Yeah, the day that Mandela died, I just took the opportunity to say, if possible, I want to be the next Mandela. So I want to live a life that I will commit to working for the other people, and at the end of the day, I want to see change, mostly from among the poor. If I will leave this world and leave the poor people poor,
yes,
then I will not have made impact. But I want to make impact and change the lives of the poor, because when I've been moving around the world, I just realized, even here in the United States, I've realized that the people who are poor, ask them, which qualification do you have? Probably 100% of them might tell you that I didn't go to school. So it's only the poor that are at the most disadvantage. So I want to see, I just don't want to see an educated world, but I want to see an educated world, or a world that is changed but in favor of the poor. So that's what I want to see in the next 25 years.
Well, and I think that's our responsibility as people on the planet to help each other. And for those of us who are fortunate that we've been educated and we've worked really hard, that now that we've achieved a certain level of success, if you will, that it's our responsibility, stewardship.
Yes.
That's what I call stewardship, is that we give back, and that we help others, and if there's a way we can help educate people and give people opportunity, that it's our responsibility as good people of the planet to do that. Well, this has been really exciting to get to talk to you a little bit about your organization, and I'm real excited about your works, and I'm going to keep an eye on you. And as I said, if I can ever help you in the fundraising in the area, don't hesitate to call me. And I think we're gonna put your contact information up so people, if they know how to get a hold of you. But do you want to tell us the address, and just
yes, they can contact us through the website.
Okay.
That's www.acfegroup.org, and we also have an email address that's info@acfegroup.org.
Okay, and we'll probably flash that up on the camera here for you, so that we can do that. And hey, it's been a great pleasure to meet you, and best of luck to you with all your endeavors. I'm very excited for you. So hey, on behalf of ACTV, I really want to thank Stanley for coming here today and telling us all about his great work. And thank you very much to the viewing audience for sitting in with us today on this special edition here at ACTV. So on behalf of Stanley and myself, we're going to bid you adieu, and thanks for watching us. I'm Mark Macomber, your host, and we'll see you next time.